video I'm going to talk about exception in inheritance. So basically, what are the kind of exceptions you have in the Java, and what kind of exceptions you can throw within the override methods. So as we know that the exceptions are of two types, one is checked exception and the other one is unchecked exception. So checked exceptions are those which generally check at the compile time. So if some code within a method throws a checked exception, then the method must either handle the exception or it must specify the exception using throws keyword. Whereas in the unchecked exception, it's basically a runtime exception. So you don't check it at the compile time, you get that exception at the runtime. So here we have two classes, class A and B. Class B is extending class A and overriding method ABC of class A. So now case number first, when my child class throws any unchecked exception such as null pointer exception, what will happen? Here you can see that the program compiles correctly and there is no compilation error over here. So if I run this program, I'll get the correct output. So we are allowed to throw any unchecked exception in our child class. Now the case number second, if I try to throw any checked exception from my child class, what will happen? First I have to import this, then I have to either wrap this particular calling statement inside try catch or add a throws declaration for it. Let me do that. Now here you can see I'm getting two suggestions. First for removing this particular exception from this method, and the other one is adding this particular exception to method a.abc, which is this one. So basically we are not allowed to throw any checked exception in our child class. Or the case number third, if I try to throw the same exception in my parent class, what will happen? Again the program compiles correctly, and if I run this program, I'll get the correct output. So we are allowed to throw any checked exception from the child class when we are also throwing the same type of exception from our parent class. Now the case number 4, if my parent class is throwing a broader exception in comparison to my child class, it will work again. So this is the case number 4, that we are allowed to throw any checked exception from our child class but we have a condition that my parent class is also throwing a broader exception. Okay. Now the case number 5, if my child class throws any broader exception in comparison to my parent class, I'll get an error which will give me these two suggestions again. Either I have to remove this exception or I have to add this particular exception to that a.abc method. So these are the 5 cases. I hope you have understood the concept of throwing an exception in override methods. Thank you.